a replacement of a current levy that expires.
Okay.
That expires this year, and so that levy really just is, that isn't an increase. There isn't an increase in taxes on that one. That's just to maintain, keeps things as they are.
Okay.
We benefit from that in the addition of teachers. We have additional teachers that have been hired because of those funds. We are able to have additional funds for our extracurricular programs. So it really covers a lot of different things. But here at Mountlake Terrace High School, those are probably the primary areas that you see students and staff benefiting from those levy funds.
Okay.
Our district budget, our whole school district budget, 23% of our budget comes from this levy. And so we would need to cut roughly 23% of our district budget if that levy were not to be passed. That would result in some significant cuts. Just to give you to help you to put it in perspective, the way that if you think of our district budget as $1, 87 cents of that dollar is taken up by the cost of salary and benefits for staff. 12 cents or 13 cents of that dollar make up the cost of things like buying the fuel for buses, the power, the electricity to run schools, that kind of thing. So you can see pretty quickly that not having this levy would mean that we'd have to cut into the staffing. I mean, that's really the only place that you can go. Proposition 2 is a capital projects bond, and so it's about a $275 million capital projects bond for the construction and refurbishment of just about every school in the district. For Mountlake Terrace High School, if this were to pass, Mountlake Terrace High School would see about $9 million in improvements. Probably the most noticeable thing that we would see is our ventilation system. Heating and ventilation would be replaced, and that's the significant chunk of the money that we would receive if that bond were to pass.
Okay.
Not here, but again, the other thing that this bond would fund would be the construction of some new schools.
Okay.
Across the district.
Right.
So there's a need for a new Alderwood Middle School, a couple of new elementary schools. So that money from that bond would also go to fund those construction projects as well.
Okay.
You had asked me earlier about what the impact of that would be on the taxpayer.
Yeah.
This would be a tax increase, while the maintenance and the replacement levy is no increase in taxes. It just stays the same. This capital projects bond would result in about $12 per month per household is what they're projecting. Is about a $12 increase per month in taxes. And there's no way to sell this otherwise. I mean, to spend this otherwise. A capital projects bond is an increase in taxes. I think the thing to remember is our community, our school community across this district has some pretty significant needs, and as our buildings age, there are things that we just simply need to do to be able to maintain the safety and security of our buildings, and having a bond like this allows us to be able to do that. We're getting there. The state is getting there. This year they made, I think, a down payment on that promise. And in the Edmond School District saw an increase of about $10 million this year, just from the increase in the state revenue, thanks to the McCleary lawsuit. And I think there's still a ways to go. If you look at our school district, over the last 5 years, we've cut a significant chunk of our school district, about $45 million over the last several years because of just budget cuts and the declining economy and those things. So having that $10 million this year allowed us to do a lot, as a school district to restore some programs. We still have work to do, and one of the things that this funding is going to do is going to decrease class sizes at the elementary schools and create all-day kindergarten programs. Those increases in funding for decreasing class sizes in all-day kindergarten require additional classrooms. We don't have those additional classrooms right now, and so that's another challenge we're facing is making sure that we have the capacity to be able to add those additional classrooms. Mukilteo School District this year had to turn down over $1 million in increased state funding because they simply did not have a place to put those classrooms at kindergarten. They had to say no to the state because they didn't have anywhere to put the classrooms. And that to me is I think really symptomatic of the challenge we're facing, which is why I think things like our capital projects bond are really important things for voters to take a look at and become educated about.
Okay.
And I just think the most important thing I would say to people is it's really important to be educated and take a look at these, take a look at the information the district is putting out, and just take the time to get educated about the issues. And obviously in the end you have to vote your conscience and you have to vote the way that you think is best. But I just would encourage people to be educated about these measures and understand what it is that we're asking for.
Okay.